Yeah, Bharat, thank you for the introduction. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever the part of the world you are from, and welcome you to the session on generative AI and how it helps you to accelerate your CSAT score. So that's going to be the topic today. Let me share the screen. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Mahesh, it is visible. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Before we begin, let me give a bit of introduction about where we come from. We are part of iLink Digital Family. So iLink is established in 2002, and it is in the business for more than 22 years. So the main office is the head office is in Seattle, and we are one of iLink's subsidiary, and we have an expertise in conversational AI. So Purposeful is our name, and we are in business for more than 7 years now. So what is Purposeful? So at Purposeful, we always believe the interface to the human from the with the computers is always a challenge actually. So when we started the conversational AI startup, the idea is to see how the next generation interfaces will be there for human to interact with the computers. So we strongly believe, and with the recent inventions in ChatGPT and Gen AI, the humans will be able to soon to be able to have a conversations, smart conversations in their own language with the computers to get things done. So we helped our customers to build the next Gen AI applications or the conversational AI applications, which primarily use the human language as interface, both in voice as well as in text. So a bit of introduction about myself. I am Mahesh Mahadevan. So myself and Shivaram, we founded Purposeful in 2017. I have close to some 30 years of experience in information technology. And from the starting of internet age, I have been working with leading banks like Barclays, Standard Chartered, to do digital transformation. So my passion is about creating enterprise-grade applications and how do we help to grow the business using digital. So always curious about the growing landscape of technology, and that is what keep us motivated to explore further and then uh, taking the technology to the next level. So some of the terms which I want you to be familiar with before we jump into the actual session. So soon, these will not be new to you after the end of the session, but before we start the session, I thought it's better for you to be familiar with some of these definition so that it will not look alien to you when we get into the subsequent slides. So natural language processing, it is a field of AI where the human language meets the computer language. So how do we make the human language to be understood by the computers and respond it in a way which is context-based and then which is meaningful and which is sensible. Okay. So NLP has gone through a series of changes over the last 5-6 decades. And the recent invention in large language model, I mean, which is we call it as GPT, OpenAI. So they're all working on this large language model. So these models basically trained on a huge corpus of unlabeled data with huge number of parameters. So the parameters probably could be the keywords and other things. Okay. So for example, Microsoft Orca that is trained on 13 billion parameters. So most of the LLMs today come with the numbers of how many parameters they have trained, 7 billion, 14 billion. So that's basically like tells you like how big is the volume of data and how much of unlabeled data set they are training on. So the next step, what you'll often hear with large language model is prompt engineering. So this is basically like, unlike the traditional applications where the integration happens through an API and you pull the data from the other systems using API. Large language models work with prompts. So prompts is a process in which you ask the question with context and craft it in a way like, it is optimized to get the right answer what you want. So you will often hear the word hallucination in the large language model. That's basically like, the LLM is trying to answer anything you ask for. So that is where a good prompt engineering is important for you to avoid vague or like confusing questions to the LLM. And the retrieval augmented generation RAG. So this is a tool which is basically to reduce the hallucination of large language model. So this helps you to get a relevant data. So you have a huge corpus of data. And so let us take an example of an insurance application. So your insurance may have a huge corpus of data which talks about fresh business, you're talking about renewals, you're talking about claims, then you'll talk about agents, you'll talk about partners. So there are huge corpus of data. But when someone is asking a question on claims, you want to basically focus on the claims data to answer it instead of taking the whole corpus and then answer it. So that is where your retrieval augmented generation helps you. It helps you to retrieve the relevant data from the huge knowledge base so that the hallucination can be reduced. So let's quickly understand how NLP has progressed over the years, because this will really help you to appreciate why LLM is a blessing and that how LLM will help us to create some excellent customer experience. So the NLP disruptions happened in the last 3 decades can be sentenced to these 4 actually. I mean, we can classify this into these 4 major items. The reason I'm saying we can classify these 4 items is because though there are a lot of minor disruption happens, these are all the major disruptions which has changed the way the NLP works. So the earliest stages, which is in 1950s, 60s, even 70s, or even later part of 80s, it was basically the back of words. So we take a sentence. So for example, there is an input like will it rain in LA tomorrow? So what we try to do is we try to create the bag of words using root words, which means we do stemming, we do lemmatization, and then we create root words. So based on that, we will have something called LA and tomorrow and rain. So based on rain, it will try to understand that it is talking about weather. And then the entities could be city is LA and time is tomorrow. So based on this, like the system tries to understand and then tries to respond. Then the another major disruption happened is there is a there is something called sequence to sequence modeling. So sequence to sequence modeling is like it will try to predict the n+1th word or the nth word from the previous n-1 words. So for example, like you have to predict the 6th word. It will take all the 5 words what you have done so far, and then it will try to predict what could be the next word. So for example, whether it's good in LA today. So it can help you to complete the sentence, whether it's good in LA today and it may rain. So, and it may rain could be what it tries to generate from the previous n number of words actually. So this was done using the recurrent neural network and then LSTM. But there was not sufficient enough, and that is where the transformers come. I'll explain transformers. Before that, like now, quick catch up on word to vector. So in word to vector, like the words are no longer alphabets; they are all given a numerical value. So with the numerical value, they are vectorized and then they are grouped together in a large data set. So what has helped in this is like, for example, you give a input like king, queen, man, and women. It will be able to infer king minus man plus woman equal to queen actually. So this is what called vectorization. So even the recent changes or recent advancements in the LLM, vectorization still plays a major role. So that is where transformer comes to the picture. So one of the problem with the previous RNN LSTM is all like it was always going from the left to right. Transformers was able to do the entire sentence at once. So that is where, like now, for example, if someone talks about the man went to the stores and bought dash dash of shoes. So a typical answer will be like in a RNN world, the answer will be like the women went to the store and bought chocolates. So it will leave out the context of shoes. So the actual one with transformers, it will be filled with the where. So which is like more appropriate given the entire sentence. So transformers had various different type of transformers came into the picture. Like BERT was one of the model, bidirectional encoding. So that was quite popular. Then this GPT came into market. So when GPT came into the market, like the 1, 2, 3 did not make noise. The 3.5 with OpenAI, it has recreated or reimagined the way the NLP works actually. So the foundation model for GPT is a large language model. So the large language model is built with the content. So the content could be text, or it could be images, or it could be speech, or it could be structured data, anything. So it's basically unstructured data which you have with terabytes of data, and they are tagged and they are like parameterized. So that goes to the training, and this data within the foundation model helps you to do an adaptation. So this adaptation is what coming up with the different tasks, like from question answering. The simplest use case is question answering. It can do sentimental analysis. It can help you to do information extraction. It can do object recognition, and then it can do instruction following. So these are all the different things like what the GPT can help you do. So in simple terms, like let us ask GPT, what is generative AI? Okay, so this is the type of AI where you are able to create a new content based on what you have learned. So the learning is based on a huge corpus of trained data, and that is LLM actually. So let's get into the definition of like what is conversational AI. So conversational AI is basically a application of modern technologies. Basically, like where we use language as a major input in both voice and text actually, and this it helps you to create a superior customer experience. So when a customer experience becomes like a lot more intuitive is when you basically have the context of what you speak and you provide the right kind of information and which is sensible, and then it is to the topic but is relevant to what the question asked by the customer. So a good conversational AI with Gen AI gives you both happy customers and empowered agents, which basically like gives you a higher CSAT score. So we will talk about like how this happens and what kind of tools available in the markets. We will demo you one of our homegrown product called ParrotGPT, and then we will explain you how some of this problem can be solved. We will do a demo of it. So typical customer experience challenges. So we talked about customer experience challenges for the CSAT score. Then we will talk about the agent challenges. Okay. So and how both of them can be overcome with the GenAI and CAI combination. See, typically, like before the GenAI world, or like before we had a good conversational AI framework, what happens is like the answers from the chatbot or the conversational AI has been always based on a predefined set of Q&As. So the accuracy is always like limited because the number of or the amount of data what you can train is also limited. The another major challenge is like your corpus is normally free formatted and it is not in a certain format. So training that data is also a huge challenge actually. So mostly the experience is like very predictable. So I will show you a demo of how predictable responses from a CAI without GenAI and how it changes with GenAI. And there is the agents who are using help desks, okay, which they are using to converse with the customers. They have also been facing like a lot of issues. The one of the major challenge, right? The churn out rate of the agents are quite significant. So each time onboarding them needs a significant investment in the training. And it is not just onboarding. And after onboarding them, how do you keep equipping them with all the product knowledge and services practices? They are very key to the success for you to maintain a good CSAT. The second major challenge is, despite you train the agents, having a consistent and sensitive response to the customers at a scale, okay, is always a challenge. So it results in different customer experience. Finally, providing contextual helps. So when agent is tracked, when a question is asked by the customer and he is not able to get a necessary help to answer the customers, that is where like the scaling becomes an issue. And with that, the another problem is like the supervisors are limited. So it's not easy for agents to get a necessary help actually. So this is where GenAI comes in. It is always like possible building an engaged conversations with GenAI, because one is the responses are completely generated. The training can be done on a corpus of knowledge. So basically, like, uh, you don't have to have a structured data. You can give any unstructured data and the training can be done. So when that happens, the responses are always accurate or can be pointed. So when you talk about like, how do I, is bariatric surgery covered in my insurance? It should be able to answer yes or no. It should not be giving a big list of paragraph with responses. Rather, it should be giving yes or no. So that is definitely possible with GenAI. So the context in which the questions are asked, I mean, the previous question or the place in which the user is asking from. So all those things can be taken into considerations and can be passed in the LLM as part of the parameter. So LLM, when it does response, it will take all those contexts into consideration. So that makes the conversation more engaging. On top of it, with LLM, it is very easy for you to bring in summarization. So you have a huge paragraph of conversation and someone comes to read it. So they can just summarize and then see. They can do auto correction, they can do auto suggestion so that like, whatever even you type becomes like a lot more easier. Similarly, empowering agents with GenAI is also very easy. So with GenAI, anything to do with your products, your services, or like, how we have to train your agents, your entire topics can go into the hands-on help. Agents can literally like, they can do a co-pilot with GenAI to generate like appropriate and contextual response to the customers. So basically, like, what I mean is like the agents are provided the help, whatever they need to answer the customer better. Okay. Then the another important thing is like you can create a consistency in the branding. So as an organization, if you want to respond in certain ways to the customer, that can be pre-formatted or like, the GenAI can help you to do the know-hows of speaking to the customers actually. Yeah. And finally, this is a very important point. It can help to train the agent. So whenever there is a new regulation comes in the insurance industry, or if there is a new product coming, it is very easy for you to keep your agent updated with the latest content, and you can always do the assessments and feedbacks to personalize the training more and more. See, but having said, right, I mean, like, GenAI is not a magic word. It cannot solve every problem. So normally, right now, GenAI needs significant investment. Suppose, like, if you want to put in GenAI in your data center, there is a significant investment because, like, these machines or these models needs GPUs, and the GPU machines are going to be expensive. The second one, right, the contents all should be available in digital form. Okay, and more than that, it is not just the content availability. You should also know what should be trained and what should not be trained, so that your hallucination becomes like smaller. And GenAI will not be able to solve all your problems. Okay, so GenAI is good in certain aspects which we have seen already. It is good in summarization. It is good in generating content. It is good in answering questions from a paragraph, but it may not be able to solve all the problems what you have in terms of like, your application business issues. So that needs some SME advice. So you need to be an SME I mean, you need to have an SME who can really advise you on what should be trained and what should not be reserved. Okay. And finally, I think that is an important one. GenAI tries to answer everything. So it is easy to get hallucination. So that is where, like, it is important to restrict to a domain. So for example, right, you are running an insurance application, and then in that insurance application, you have a bot. You don't want that bot to answer about, like, how do you repair your car, or how do you, it should talk about only car insurance. Okay. So that also I will explain later. How do you handle that? So now, welcome to Parrot. So they have seen the challenges in CAI, and we have seen how GenAI can help to overcome that. But we have also seen even GenAI has some challenges. And now I'll introduce you to some of the frameworks, and one important one, which is our homegrown, is Parrot. So our Parrot GPT is basically a framework. Okay? It is a conversational AI platform, and it can be trained on any huge corpus of data. And then it can help you to build business functions, and we can produce a chatbot which can provide you an omnichannel experience. So what we mean by omnichannel experience is, like, you can deploy it in a web, or you can deploy it in a mobile, or you can deploy it in Teams, or you can deploy it in Slack, or whatever the softwares you want, actually. So this is a high level view of what it is. So basically, like, uh, you have a 3 steps for you to create your smart agent. And this smart assistant can be up and running in few minutes. I will show a demo of how it works. So it is as simple as, like, train your content, and then if at all there are business integrations, do that and then deploy it. And if there are no business integrations, you can get it up and running in minutes, actually, which we will showcase you. So the important thing is these are trained with OpenAI. I mean, like, they are integrated with GPTs. So OpenAI is one, Azure OpenAI is one, and we can build it once and then you can use it anywhere with Teams, WhatsApp, everywhere. So what are ParrotGPT key differentiators? Okay, so first is, like, it is enabled with GenAI capabilities. So not many conversational assistants are enabled with GenAI capabilities. So what we mean by GenAI capabilities enablement, it is not about, like, doing just a question and answer. We have different use cases using GenAI. And what is more important is, like, it helps you to create your own LLM models for, suppose if you want to do a deployment in your own premises. The second one is there is escalation workflow for the human agents, basically the help desk people to respond to the customer service request. Now, we have also enabled the agents to do a co-piloting with GenAI to respond to the customer in a more accurate and consistent way. Okay. So the low-code platform, which I will see it soon, and we try to keep it AI neutral and flexible deployment operating, actually, like, and we do have a SaaS model, which I'll explain later. So one of the problem what we have seen, right, is a hallucination, actually. So this is a quick explanation of how do we reduce hallucination using RAG. So when the user uploads the content, that's the step one. Using Parrot Studio, we create a knowledge base. So what happens is, so that's a step two, creating the knowledge base. Now, when a customer types in a query to Parrot, so the step three, what Parrot does is it calls the RAG to find the relevant content. RAG reaches out to the knowledge base and it matches the relevant content using the vector match. And finally, the actual question asked by the customer plus the retrieved content from the RAG, they are given to the LLM. So this helps you to provide the relevant responses from the LLM. I'll do a use case and then I'll show you how it works. Okay. So we talked about GenAI, how it can help. I just want to show you functionally what are the different use cases you can look at for GenAI actually. So the themes could be it can be a smart assistant where it can answer your questions, whatever the question you have asked for, it can respond, or it can help you to summarize and or it can help you to do the content enhancements. So this is basically what GenAI can offer you, and I'll show you how the I'll show you a quick demo of how these are done in GenAI. So this is called Playground. This is a small application what we have built to showcase what GenAI can do for us. So let us take a simple one. There's a question and answers with GenAI. So I have some of the content here. So let me see, there are documents which talks about introduction to AI. Okay. So there are a lot of things in AI. So let's see whether we can upload it and then see how it answers from here. So I open it, I select the file. Okay, so this is the content which I want to train. So the training happens basically this content is trained in the one. Okay, so let me ask some questions. So let us see what are the things we have. Okay. Okay, so you'll see what are all the types of AI. So this helps you to read the corpus what we have, which is basically here, and then it will back up the answer. So NAN and BKI. Okay, and this is basically it helps you to explain more about what the details about it actually, and what are the use cases they have, smart homes, autonomous vehicles, all those things. So this is basically a question and answer. This is, I mean, we are not doing anything here. We're just taking the content. We are generating answers using this one. Then you can summarize the content. So let us say there is a huge blog on social media trends, how the digital transformation happens and what are the significant things. Okay, I don't have time to read all those. So what I do is I just go to upload and I'll take this and then I do summarize. So this can summarize the content and then it can show you here. Grammar corrections. So whenever you have content and then which is having grammar issues, grammatical issues, or spelling mistakes, this can help you to take care of it. Finally, generating a content. Okay, so we can talk about how AI can help. Let's go. So this can create a content, or this can create more like a blog of how GenAI can create CSAT score. So personalized response, faster response time, consistency, enhanced problem solving, improved understanding. So pretty much like, so, or I can say like, write a blog on customer experience in insurance industry. Importance of, so this can definitely create a blog which will talk about the importance of customer experience in the insurance industry. So how this gets written, I mean, like, this is basically based on the huge corpus of model what they have, and based on that, like, they generate this content. So it starts with the title, there's an introduction, and the entire thing, and there is a conclusion. So this, then there is semantic search, basically like, how do you search particular content actually, and there is a vector-based search. So it will be like, semantically like what is more meaningful. So there is also something like you can see it here. So this playground is available, and probably like, you can play it, have a look at it actually. Now I'll go back to slides. So let's take a use case. Okay, so we saw what is the capabilities of GenAI. Now we'll come to the main topic, which is CSAT score. So let us take a use case, right? There is a company called All Insurance. The reason, like, why I keep coming to insurance is a business where there is a lot of digital content, and there is also like a lot more regularized, and the amount of documentation used in terms of like underwriting or like claims processing, it is huge actually. And a lot of this data are also unstructured, but it needs meaningful responses. So that is the reason, like, I feel like industry wise, insurance is one area where the customer service experience can be greatly improved by GenAI actually. Okay. So let us take a scenario. All Insurance is a company, and it wants to improve its CSAT score. So what are the challenges they have? Mainly, like, with their conversationals, they are not able to offload the agent questions. So pretty much like, mainly the agents are still handling all the questions because the conversational assistant is not able to answer it properly. Then there's no contextual awareness. Basically, like, the bot answers whatever the user is asking for without understanding the context. So that makes it more disengaging. And the agents are not equipped with the necessary information. So when there's a customer query, the agent is not able to immediately respond. Furthermore, like, there are challenges in agent training. Okay. Finally, there are inconsistent in the way the agent responds. So these are all typically, like, if you are from the insurance industry, and if you handle customer service executives, this is probably like, it will sound very familiar to you. So this is where Parrot and Parrot Desk can help actually. Parrot can help you to create a bot which can help you to answer the customer's intuitive, contextual, and relevant answers. And we can create GenAI powered Q&A. So what more is like, we can pull relevant data with integrations. So for example, someone wants to renew a policy, how they can renew the policy, or if someone wants to file a claim, how they claim file the claim. So all those things with few integrations with the backend services of an insurance industry, this is definitely possible actually. Then it also helps the agent with predefined responses and then augmented responses. So we will see, like, I'll show a quick demo of how the smart assistant is Parrot and Parrot Desk is in action for the agents and the customers. So that I will do a quick demo. So let's start with creating a bot. So this is mainly to show you like how easy it is to create a bot. So assume that like I already have a content. Okay. So basically like this is a FAQ of all insurance company, trust all insurance company. Okay. This is the documents, and the same document is also created as a CSV. As a FAQ. So this content is also like created as FAQ. Now I'm going to show you like how easy it is to create a bot with the content available. So we go to Parrot Studio. Okay. So actually like I have already logged in using my user ID. Magesh. Okay, so that is the ID I'm using it to log in, and probably like I'll log out and then show you from beginning. Okay, sorry. So I go to Parrot Self Service. Let's get started. Okay. So I have already logged in, so I managed to come in. Like this is my ID, Magesh Mahadevan. Okay, I'm here. So what I will do is I'll create a new bot actually. Okay. So I'll call this as Eva. Okay. This conversational assistant. For okay, I'll create another bot. We call it as Eva GPT. So this is a generative AI bot for all insurance company. All right. So let me start with this bot. So this is a studio where you can create the bot actually. So I start here. Okay. Then I add some content. So basically like now I want to add a content. So which content I want to add, I can just put unstructured content. So this is an unstructured content what I have. I will just use that actually. So I upload a file, I upload a document, and the document is here. Okay, I do changes. So the request is under process. So the bot is being built. In the meantime, let us create a small that Eva bot actually, like an FAQ bot. So here, like what I want to do is I have already a structured document, which is basically the CSV file. So I'll take the CSV file, and that is creating a FAQ page. So that has taken the data, which is in the CSV file. Okay. So all these questions, they are shown here. They are imported to the bot storage. So there are a total of 25 questions. So you can go through the questions. Okay. If you want to change something, you can change something, whatever the questions you have. So now I do it next. Okay, so based on the topics, whatever you have here, the topics, whatever you have here, the topics are shown here. Okay, so now we are ready to launch the bot. So this helps you to create the conversational assistant without Gen AI actually. So I'll give the name as Eva. And then welcome message, I'll just leave it as it is. I will say like, do you want to call? Yeah, you can, I can call my agent. And there's 3 times. And do I have to make it available? Okay, I'll just make it in Parrot. So now I do next. The bot is ready. Okay, so this is our bot Eva. And at the same time, like you can just take this code that is basically a script file. You can just take it and then embed it into your website, and then your website is ready with the bot. Let me show, I'll launch it, show like how it looks like. So this is the bot. Okay, so I'll just do this publish and I'll close it. Okay, now I go to Eva bot. Okay, so I chat with Eva. It gives you all the topics. So this is, I want to quickly run through what are the features we have here. So this is the bot name, what you have here. And whenever you click here, it takes you back to your home page. And there are a few options here. You can either talk to your agent, you can look at the chart history, you can export your history, and you can end the conversation. So there are no agents online now. So it shows like there are, the agents are offline. So then it shows you all the topics. So there are a few ways you can access the information. One is like you can go through these topics, and then you can take it to the particular one. So let us say like let's talk about renewals. So you can look at like how do you do auto renewal? Is there an option for automatic policy renewals? Yes, we can opt for okay by setting up okay. There are questions. Okay. The second way is like you can ask the questions from the predefined list of questions. So basically, like for auto renewal, there's a late fee. Okay, there's a late fee question. So I can ask a question like what is or like I can ask late fee. Okay. Are there any additional fees for late premium payment? So then it talks about like late premium payment. So this is the next way you can do that. And whenever you ask a question, you always come back with a response with there are the relevant questions. So this is basically like how you build a graph. Whenever there's a question, the relevant questions are also like given here actually. So a person who is looking at the renewal is most likely going to look at the discount, and he's also most likely going to look at when is the due date and what are the payment methods. So this tree is very important, or like this graph is very important for you to have a superior customer experience. Okay. So now there are 3. The third way where how you can access this menu is like just you can type any question actually. But this is where I'll also show you a limitation. So for example, right, I have a credit card and then I want to pay the premium using credit card. So I ask this question, can I renew my policy using credit card? But you see like the how the bot has treated is it has treated like can I renew my trust all insurance company policy after it has expired. So in this case, right, it has tried to match this question, can I renew my policy? But it has completely lost the context of I'm talking about the credit card payment. Okay, but since it has matched this very, so it has given this answer actually. Okay, so another important thing which I wanted to show you is like there is when you end the conversation, there is like, you can always capture the feedback actually. So yeah, say good, and then like, yeah. Now let us go back and see like, how Gen AI is different from the traditional one. So let's come to Gen AI. I think it is in draft actually. Let's see. Yeah, the document is uploaded and then it is trained. Let's go and create the bot actually. So the bot is ready. Call it as Eva GPT. Okay, let's go and launch it. Okay, so for now I'll close the studio. Okay. Okay, so here Eva GPT has a different question and answer structure. It basically like lets you ask any question. Okay, so let us talk about like, how do I file it? So this will go to Gen AI and then it will try to find the response and then it will give you the response. So this will give you to file a claim with you have to call the emergency question. Okay, let it provide the details of incident, supporting information, all those things. Okay. Now let me ask a question which is something which the other bot has struggled to answer. I'll ask like, can I renew my policy with credit card? This is a question I have asked on the other bot and it was not able to answer. It was rather giving my renewal detail. But see here, the answer is pointed. Yes, you can renew your all trusted company policy with a credit card. And you can also, then it provides you some more insight. It can also opt for automatic policy renewals by setting it up in the online account. Okay, so this is the power of like, Gen AI. The answer is specific and it is within the context and it is able to give you more information about what you have asked actually. Okay, so this like, this is just to show you like how different the two bots could be. Now let me quickly go through and show you the Parrot desk actually. Okay. So Parrot desk. Right. Okay. So Parrot desk is basically used by the agents. So the agents are able to handle the customer's connections. Okay, so for example, if the bot is not able to answer some of the questions, it can get escalated to the customer. Okay, so here like, since I'm a supervisor, I mean like, it's a one-man company, so like, I run everything. Assume that like, in all insurance company. So I can set up some predefined response. So I can say like, uh, I can set up some tags like welcome. Okay. I can say like um, greeting. So I can say like, it is for So okay, so these are some greetings actually. Okay, now let's share this also. So I have done my setups. So I go to dashboard. Okay, there is no conversation, nothing happening. So I'm waiting for the chats to come. Okay, and meantime, let me go and launch one of the bot what we have created just now. I opened it in the incognito window so that I don't mess up with the session which is created in the other one. Right, okay, so we are here and then I'm going to launch the bot. Okay, so here I'll say my name is Magesh. So it's the same thing like now what you have seen just now, the bot. So I'll ask like now, how do I claim? How do I renew my policy? So this will be an answer. Okay, to renew, we have to check renewal notice and all those things. Okay. What is the premium for renewal? So this gives you the information of what is there, static information, but it is not able to get your premium and then show it actually. So this is the time like you feel like this is not useful and you want to get escalated to the agent. So now you say like now I want to talk to the agent. So the chat is being transferred. Now let's go to Parrot Desk. So in Parrot Desk, you can see there is an unsigned discussion. And that unsigned discussion is basically like Magesh as a user has asked for what is premium, and this is the information, and this is how the bot has responded. So as an agent, I can join the conversation, or I can just generate the chat summary. Okay, so actually. I think I have dropped off on this bot here actually. Okay, I think that was the problem. I just quit here actually. I'll rejoin that one. So I talked to the agent now. So I get the call in the parent desk. Okay, so I got this one. I picked up the conversation. Now I can start typing here. Okay, I can welcome them first. That comes you to okay. So this goes to the bot actually. Okay. So this says like now talking to Magesh Mahadevan. Magesh Mahadevan is basically the agent actually. So now I ask a question like I have problem in renewal. Okay, the agent says so the agent types, please do share the I can help you with. So let's say like now they are asking now the same question. Or like he's asking a question like I traveled and during I travel lost my baggage. Is that covered in the policy? It is a question. So assume that the agent is new and he has no idea whether the baggage loss is covered or not. So what he can do is he can ask ParrotGPT. At ParrotGPT, which means like it can go and ask. It can ask the help actually. This is basically the co-piloting actually, and it will ask the ParrotGPT to generate the. So now it has gone and then it has said like lost package is covered in the policy. So he can confidently go and respond saying that it is covered in the policy. Please proceed with claim filing and let me know if you need any help in this regard. So this is a power future, right? I mean, like from agent perspective, he can always like rely on whatever the information you need using ParrotGPT. There's another help which is available here. This is like for example, the customer can ask the same. I mean, the agent can ask the same question here. Customer is lost baggage covered policy. So you can ask this question using the help. There also like you can pretty much like it tells you lost baggage is covered in the comprehensive. Okay. So this is another question. Covers stolen process. Okay. Places the customer in reporting the incident and provide information on the claims process. So this how like how the assistant can help the. I mean the agent can be helped by the assistant actually. Again, like you can email the transcript, you can restart. Those things are there actually. Yeah. And there are like you can either email a transcript or you can get the chat details, who is the user, who is connected, and how he is working. And you can also transfer, suppose if there is a topic which you are not of your expertise, the agent can transfer to another agent. So these are all some of the features which is available in Parrot Disk. Okay, so now I'll come back to where we have left off. So now we have seen the demo of like Parrot and Parrot Disk actually. So normally like this is normally like the different flavor. You can have a simple virtual assistant, which is the first one I have done, or it can be with the GenAI, or it can be with the human escalation, or it can be with special channels and business integrations. So the business integration basically like helps you to create custom conversation, and you can use the custom conversations to download policy document, or you can renew policies, all those stuff actually. So I'll quickly do a demo on that also. This is a custom conversation which is created. Okay, so here I want to download a policy document. So the bot will ask you what is the last 4 digits of your registered phone number. So I'll say 699. So now it has sent a mobile, I mean OTP to that registered mobile number. Okay, this is the number. Okay, so now it has downloaded the policy document. So then the policy document gets opened. So this is what we call it as a custom conversation. This custom conversation is like, pretty much possible with business integration, depending on the situations actually. Yeah. So suppose your application needs business data to be pulled out from your core system and then to be shown to the customer, that is perfectly possible. So Parrot as such has a complete suite of products for you to have a better customer experience. There is a virtual assistant, there is a GenAI integration, there is human escalation, and you can create it in multiple channels. Finally, there is also an option to do business integrations. Okay. So basically, like, what helps you to create a superlative experience in customer experience? One is you need a human-like smart assistant. Okay, it should be able to answer the questions in a smarter way and to the context. The second major one is keeping the agents up to date with the data. So every time there is an updated content, you have to train in GenAI, and after the training, there should be content to train as well as there's an assessment, and the agent should be notified on the new content. Agent can come and read the content, and then they can take up the training, and then they can take up the assessment. And based on the assessment, the feedback goes back, and there is a personalized content again. So this can be a continuous process so that the training, the agents are kept up to date. And definitely, like, you should at least improve the efficiency up to 30%. Unless like you have a smart bot, this is going to be very difficult. And you can have a consistent response, and then you can build a brand for your smart assistant. So when you respond, you can respond it in 3 different ways. I lost my luggage. What do I do? There's a friendly manner in which you do. There's a professional, or like, there are scenarios where you have to be empathetic. So all these are possible. And with the context to GenAI, this is absolutely like a reality now. Finally, like, how do you help your agents? So you can help your agents by providing the necessary information, and they can converse better. So in summary, right, with GenAI, definitely there's a significant uptick in a traditional chatbot experience. So now the charts are a lot more personalized, and then a lot more intuitive, and then a lot more accurate actually. And there is significant opportunities, right, to augment human capabilities. Like this is what I have shown you. How do you co-pilot for an agent? And there are bottom line gains, which is saving time, improving operational efficiency, and user experience. Okay. So this is a, like, just to make you remember. So GPT, right, as any AI, it is purely dependent on your trained data. So it is very difficult to attribute a response to a source content. So this is one of the reasons, like, we never want to have a biased or like inaccuracies. And that is exactly the reason why we have to augment using the RAG model and other things. So before closing on the Parrot side, there are flexible options, deployment option available. The rightmost is basically the hosted, which is basically like SaaS model, which we support the Parrot. And we are cloud agnostic, we can deploy in any cloud. So, but the critical part is, it is not the technology, it is how we prepare the use case and how do we prepare the content. So that is the very critical success factors for you to have a successful bot launched. So this is how normally we work. We do a preparation work initially to finalize the use case, sample content, and the channels. Okay. Then based on that, we train the models. We set up some data load pipelines on the frequency of how it is going to be updated. Then finally, like now we do the authentication, authorization, and we deploy the collaboration platforms. Finally, set up the user agents. Okay. So post that, once you are comfortable, then we can start doing business services integration and customizations and branding. Okay. So yeah, we are into the end of the session. Like now, what I would say is like we have to stop building chatbots. We have to build really engaging conversational experience, and we feel like this is a good time with the Gen AI is making waves, and um, if you don't do LLM or Gen AI, what you are going to miss out on the customer experience will be a lot actually. Like so, yeah, that right. That's pretty much like when it comes to the end of the session. Thank you everyone for being here. Bharat, are there any questions for us to answer?
We have only one question, Mahesh. So,
Sure.
is this bot only with RAG or can it do fine tuning of the FM?
See, we firmly believe like fine tuning of LLM may not be necessary until there is a compelling use case. RAG is sufficiently smart enough or like enough for us to handle many of the scenarios. So right now, what we have shown is only the RAG, but definitely like fine tuning is not something we cannot do. The same Parrot GPT can work with fine tuned LLMs also.
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. There are no other questions at this time.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We have your contact details on the screen. hello@purpleslate.in. If any of you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us. And if any of you are looking to start any POCs or demo with Parrot GPT, feel free to connect with us at hello@purpleslate.in. Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you,
And
everyone.
thank you
Yeah.
all for joining this session.